The rage effect has been discovered very early in Smash 4's life, and I've always had strong opinions, but I've never really spoken much about it. So in this video, I just want to share some of my thoughts about the rage effect and whether or not I feel it should make a comeback in a future Smash title. Though before I answer that, we have to look at how rage has changed gameplay in Smash. I'm sure most of you know what the rage effect is, but just in case, for anyone new to Smash 4, a character experiences rage once they reach 35% damage and lasts until 150%. During this range, your move can have up to a maximum of 15% knockback. Now 15% isn't little. It can mean dying as early as 70% against Fox's up smash, as opposed to 90+. As a person who has spent countless hours testing and experimenting with combos, I've noticed that rage adds an extra layer of awareness to the game that not many other fighters have, even comparing past Smash titles. When you perform combos in traditional fighters like Street Fighter, there usually isn't much to account for besides hitting your inputs at the right time. Once you nail that starting move, the rest is pure muscle memory and execution. When Smash 64 came out, it gave a new perspective of how a fighting game can be played. Percentages, blast zones, and whatnot. Combos were of course still possible, but now players had to take the opponent's health or percentage into account. Oh, their percent's too low, I shouldn't do this combo yet, or else they'll get out for sure. I better do this one instead. On top of this, there's direction influence. Should I follow up my combo this way or this way? Moves can also become stale, forcing you to be mindful of not spamming kill moves at lower percents. Now fast forward to Smash 4, we've got all of that, plus we have rage. Players must not only take into account their opponent's percentage, their choice of move, and its knockback, but also their own percentage and how much extra knockback that will add, due to rage. The rage effect has added another new dynamic to Smash. Take this match for example, both players are 2 stock apiece and at really high percents. The next play will probably secure the stock. The player that wins it, well, they're now in a much better spot. Not only will they retain their rage in the next fight, but their opponent will be coming in with 0 rage. Making things even harder, depending on the character, they likely have to land a raw kill move, which the default no rage knockback doesn't help at all. In this situation, the game basically rewarded the player with a stock lead. No doubt this can be frustrating for the player coming back with a fresh stock, but in reality, it can go both ways. Cause later on, if both players make it to the last stock, the player behind will probably have lots of rage, and the roles will be reversed. What I wonder is this push and pull dynamic a good thing for the game? I personally think there are positives and negatives. I enjoy the extra tension that it adds to the match, both as a player and as a viewer. I like how it also benefits heavyweight characters since they typically survive longer, and as a result are able to experience higher level of rage more frequently. I see this as a good thing. Most of them being in lower tiers, heavy and less agile characters are usually fighting an uphill battle in the neutral. Rage gives them more of a fighting chance. On the flip side, it's unfortunate that light characters can't utilize higher levels of rage, as they typically won't survive long enough. Light characters like Mewtwo are fine, as they have reliable kill moves or setups that don't necessarily require a lot of rage to end stocks. But I think characters like Jigglypuff really get the butt end of the stick, as it has no reliable kill moves besides rest, which is very high risk. Even if the Jigglypuff successfully lands a good string of hits at lower percents, it may still find it hard to close out the stock. All the while, the opponent now has enough rage to kill her as early as 60 or 70%. On the other hand, characters with a strong combo game can actually benefit a lot from rage, like Bayonetta, Zero Two Samus, and Mario. The extra knockback can help them extend their combo strings at an earlier percent, and by the time the opponent reaches the blast zone, there's a high chance the finishing blow will close out the stock, also thanks to rage. So in that sense, I think for some players it can feel a little infuriating. I believe this is what many refer to as the comeback factor. There's always a good chance you can make a comeback with rage with a few correct plays. Though, is this good for gameplay? I personally don't think it's bad, it's just different. It keeps both players on their toes, and if both players can equally benefit from rage, why not? The only questionable aspect, like I said before, is that some characters get more out of it than others, due to their weights and combo ability. Speaking of that, Lucario definitely benefits the most from Rage compared to any other character, since it stacks with his aura. I've heard and read a number of complaints from various players over the years, and I get it. It can feel pretty daunting getting killed by an up smash as early as like 30%. But the question remains, is it fair? Is it fair for a character to reach such immense power given the right circumstance? I guess one can argue that it was the opponent's fault for racking up Lucario's percent so high and failing to finish them off earlier with a kill combo. For this reason, it's even more important to find ways to finish him off before you rack up his percentage too high. Rage can also work against Lucario, as he deals much less damage and knockback at lower percents. At the end of the day, in no way is Lucario overpowered. The reason I brought him up is because I feel he's a character that demonstrates the extremes of this push and pull dynamic that Rage in general has on gameplay. It's also interesting to note that this type of mechanic isn't unique to Smash alone. There's an almost identical mechanic in Tekken 6, also known as Rage, where your character's move will deal more damage when their health reaches below a certain point. It was even carried over to Tekken 7 through the form of Rage Arts. This is no coincidence. Both Smash and Tekken were developed by Namco Bandai, so if they have a hand at developing Smash 5, I believe there's a high chance the Rage effect will be making a return. Besides some of the things I mentioned before, I honestly don't mind it at all, as long as they adjust and balance the knockback of moves properly, so players can get very low risk but very high reward options. In the end, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think the Rage effect should make a return in the next Smash? Or is it better off being left out? Let me know in the comments. Well guys, that's all for today's video. As always, I hope you found it helpful. Thank you Patreoners for your support, Sylveon Bay, Ethan Stevenson, Brooke Miad, Austin Lau, and many others. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.